And on every corner of every hood and back road throughout the United States, there are potential agents everywhere. These potential agents pose a great threat to anyone who is in possession or still has access to real hip-hop. It has become such a rare commodity, so one must move anonymously amongst these programmed hip-hoppers for fear that if their true identity and beliefs are revealed, they will most certainly be attacked by agents in training driven by the Matrix to believe that the latest version of shit-hop downloaded into our thought stream is our salvation. Listen to these young cats. They don't know nothing about hip-hop. They on some shit-hop. You know what I mean? These wannabe agents will do anything to become agents, and their like-mindedness makes it easy for agents to reach anyone that they deem a threat to the system that has been constructed by the Matrix to keep the illusion going. The Matrix of hip-hop is just that, an illusion. But our collective mind is being used by the Matrix as a vessel to travel faster than the speed of light, bouncing off of similar programmed minds that enable it to appear everywhere and nowhere at once. The mental influence of these potential agents can be so strong that it can override one's natural instinct and ability to be free and think for themselves. You too can be short-circuited and reprogrammed if you're not extremely careful of who and what media channels you interface with. Remember, the agents are everywhere. So if you love real hip-hop and your cover is blown, then you are in grave danger. You know what I'm saying? I'm hanging out with niggas in the street all day, young hip-hop cats that don't know nothing about hip-hop, and they think that they keeping it real, son. No, son, I'm trying to get paid, son. And they don't understand they're participating in their own demise with this bullshit that we call hip-hop. You know, you can't even talk to certain people about it. They get real, especially if they got their demo in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm going to break down the science of that demo in your pocket and what that shit really means. You know what I'm saying? Where am I at? All right. The Matrix will stop at nothing to make sure that every black male from the age of 8 to 40 years old dresses alike, thinks alike, listens to the same music, and adheres to the same way of life. The Matrix will stop at nothing to ensure that every black female feels degraded, worthless, and the black male is her primary enemy. However, you are different. The mere fact that you have rejected the programming that has turned 99% of our youth into hip-hop drones means that you are an anomaly with the capacity to retain the strand of original hip-hop within your DNA. It means that you still have access to your detailed files about a time in hip-hop when the gods ruled. It means that you are immune to every radio station, hip-hop magazine, and video show that attempts to erase your memory or scramble your DNA structure in an effort to close the gateway between hip-hop's past and hip-hop future. It means that by the Matrix standards, you are the one. And with an activated pineal gland that can clearly see beyond the illusion that is the Matrix, the construct, you are more dangerous than 1 million of its agents. It also means that at this very moment, agents are coming to get you, and time is running out. Since time is an illusion, it's easy for the Matrix to use it to alter the perception and thought patterns of the youth who are 18 years old and younger because they have literally been birthed into the construct. If you're 18 years old and younger and shit, because this timeline I'm going to break down for you, from 88 on, if you know what I'm saying, you have been birthed into this, so you will fight for this like it's real. All right, where am I? Okay. The Matrix of hip-hop is all that they know and all that they wish to know, and they will fight feverishly to defend it. The divide between the Matrix and old school hip-hop, or Zion, must be kept because old school heads know the truth. That you youngsters are nothing more than slaves, and your sole purpose of existence is to keep this version of the Matrix alive. The further we move from its origins, the easier it becomes to suppress and conceal the true knowledge of hip-hop. In a generation or two, the Matrix will be able to dismiss the gods who created real hip-hop as some sort of myth or urban legend because there will be no remnants of their existence if we don't find a way to preserve the history, not by words alone, but through practice. You know what I'm saying? If we don't, us older cats who understand what hip-hop is about, if we don't begin to teach these young cats what hip-hop is about, they're going to dismiss Kumo D as some kind of fucking myth. Telling each other, oh, Kumo D never existed. You mean the guy with the dark glasses is a myth? It never happened. Serious. They'll be able to do that shit after a while. The further and further we move from its origins, and us old school heads don't pass it on. You know what I'm saying? You seen the movie Incredibles? Anybody seen that? All right, now. Twice. Beautiful. In that movie, because I like to parallel a lot of shit with hip-hop. In that movie, I felt that they was talking about hip-hop in a weird sense. Meaning, the Incredibles, the ones who created hip-hop, they were no longer needed now. You know what I'm saying? So once they got the matrix and the construct set up, they didn't need Rakim and Jaz-O. They didn't need motherfuckers like that no more. And them incredible MCs had to go and get a job and be normal and shit like that. Sitting at a desk. I drive a bus for a living. I'm one of the fucking Incredibles. You know what I'm saying? Here I'm on a fucking bus with old ladies and shit and suppressing my creative energy and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's the same process, and all these incredible MCs have all those posters on the wall about the glory days or when they used to be the Incredibles. You know what I'm saying? So I'm calling on all the incredible MCs, whether you had a deal or you didn't have a deal. I'm calling on all y'all now to step it up. Take that sword off the wall, sharpen the shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's just the war of words. We coming to it. You know what I'm saying? My sword ain't as sharp as it used to be. I ain't wrote none in years. But I can still jig a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? I'm like Morpheus in the fight scenes. I'm doing all the old school shit while Neo and these young cats are spitting all this off the... But I'll get you. I'll cut you. I'll cut you. All right? I'm calling on all those incredible producers to take the drum machine out the closet. Dust the shit off, you know what I'm saying? Start cracking up your beats again and shit like that. Not to get a deal, because we know that's some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But just to teach these young cats. And here's the thing. Don't let none of them niggas who talking that bullshit rhyme on your track. That's where the producers we kind of throw them by the wayside because they don't take responsibility for nothing. I just, like G-Rap said, I'm just a chef. I just cook up the stew and step. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of let the producers off the hook. Nah, don't let no niggas rhyme on your track. My partner Dave did that. He pulled his drum machine down and he told all them little young niggas, he said, listen, I got beats, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But when you come to my house, you can't rhyme about none of that street killing shit if you didn't really do it. Nobody knocked on his door. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So we all have to begin to take responsibility for what we're doing. So I'm calling on all those Incredibles. And you young cats, when you in a cypher and you spitting and shit like that, and you see that old dude with just a little bit of gray in his beard, and he got a newspaper on his hand because he coming from work or he got his kids, and he's sitting in the cypher and he watching, it's probably one of the masters right there. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's sitting there. He's disgusted at where hip hop has turned. You know what I'm saying? But when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So if you young cats just say, yo, old man, you used to do this? He probably say, yeah, shorty, come in. Let me show you what this is about. Let me tell you about the Cold Crush. Let me tell you about the Furious 5, Funky 4. Let me tell you. Let me show you how to do this. How to never turn your back to the crowd when you're performing. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. Them little techniques. You follow me? So that's why I'm calling on all the Incredibles. I'm dedicating this lecture to the Incredibles. Those MCs, you know what I'm saying, who were pushed off to the wayside because they had already got a system in place. They didn't. You know what I'm saying? Once they got their system, which we're going to break down, once they got their system in place, fuck they need you for? Go get a job. Ain't that some shit? All right. Let's continue on. If you look out into the streets in 2005, you'll see that the Matrix has successfully manufactured an army of wannabe MCs, producers, video hoes, mixed DJs, ball players, street hustlers, and pimps who could care less about the origins of hip-hop. They just want to get paid. They are all potential agents. Make no mistake about it, fellas. If it doesn't matter if they're your brother, sister, homeboy, husband, or wife. If they are not unplugged and armed with the fully activated pineal gland, then they are your enemy. Instead of knowledge, most of these potential agents are armed with demos in their pockets that could very well contain the access codes needed for them to escape the hood and become full agents. That's the goal of many of our young MCs. But access must be granted in the form of music that fits the criteria of the Matrix, which is violent and destructive. So all these cats got demos in their pockets, and this shit is just, they're hoping that these are the codes that can get them out of the hood. So they can come back and shit what they watch and shit and roll through the hood and look at you and shit like, what's up, nigga? You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. These rappers piss me off. When they on TV telling me I ain't shit, I gotta work, you a bum nigga, Wayne. Black Dot, you ain't shit. And I'm the one who voted this motherfucker here. I'm the one who purchased this record, which is in election. You know what I'm saying? When you go out and purchase their record, you buy into that shit. Nigga telling me I ain't shit. You ain't shit, Wayne. You ain't shit. Nigga, get a job. I'm like, oh shit. This is fucked up. So you gotta watch who you promote and shit like that. That's very fucking key. You know what I'm saying? If their demo is also encrypted with information that indicates that they hate women, hate themselves, and are willing to allow their soul and creative energy to be captured onto a disc to gain clearance, they could very well be uploaded into the system. The Matrix doesn't have to scan your retina or fingerprints to determine if you are hip-hop ready to become an agent. It simply has to place your CD into the hard drive of its mainframe located at one of its record companies, movie studios, and video shoots. Once the CD is placed into the hard drive of the Matrix and the information is screened, processed, and authorized, they become full agents, and their mission, if they so choose to accept it, is to kill you. Ain't that some shit? All they got to do is take their CD and place it into the hard drive of the Matrix. Go to a record company, movie studio, and if that shit matches up, they screen it and process it. Yeah, you hate your women, you violent and shit, you know what I'm saying, you ready to sell out. Access granted. And they move from one side of the hood into some Matrix shit. And these same motherfuckers come back to kill you. I'm gonna show you how right now. All right? So, if you know, that's what happens if their demo is accepted. If their demo is rejected, it simply means that they have not received enough programming on how the Matrix operates, and they must return to one of its many mind control outlets, like the television, radio, movie theater, or magazine stand, for more training and to await further instructions. The Matrix of hip-hop. The mission of a hip-hop agent is to kill you with products like alcohol, which is one of the leading causes of death of black people and Latino people in the hood. The mission is to kill you with cigarettes that cause cancer, meat and dairy products that destroy the body. The mission is to kill you with hip-hop ringtones that distract you from the universal tones. And the mission is to drain all of your resources so that you become totally dependent on your oppressor. The mission is to spiritually kill you with religion. Now you must sit back and ask yourself, is my favorite rapper trying to kill me? This is the shit I ask myself. When they be selling me all these fucking products and shit, and all of these detrimental products at that. You know what I'm saying? These niggas is trying to kill me. But they come in the hood as guys as they trying to save you and all this old kind of shit. These rappers is government agents. Government ain't got to do nothing. Send the rapper in the hood and you believe in the rapper. I told you at the beginning of the lecture, they don't have to control millions. They need to control one that has control over millions. And once they slide his ass across the board, you moving with him. Niggas say buy this, niggas say get that. Shit must be what I need to get. Very critical. Very fucking critical. But don't blame them. Your compliance with the program makes you an agent of your own demise, as I just mentioned. Your compliance with that shit, buying what this nigga said buy, you an agent of your own fucking demise. This is the hip-hop art of war, and these agents will stop at nothing to strategically corner and destroy their enemy in all walks of life. We are the enemy, the ones who can see, but who are grossly outnumbered by those who feel that hip-hop belongs to the people who created it, and they're just protecting our way of life, when in fact they're protecting the very system that is destroying real hip-hop. We may lose the battle, but we can still win the war. Just as there are agents working for the Matrix, there must be double agents positioned inside of the construct ready to assist us in our fight for freedom. Gotta be. That's just the law of opposites, polarities and shit. It's all these agents out here to kill us. Gotta be some cats in hip-hop who understand what's going on, that's just waiting for the opportune time to turn this shit back over to the people. The war of words will escalate to new heights as the battle lines that have been drawn between these end times of rhyme. But that's the end of the story. Let's go back to the beginning. So y'all follow me with that? These agents are around, so we're gonna go back to the beginning of the story. earth, air, water, fire, and hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? You young cats is hip-hop occultists. Y'all dealing with some hip-hop alchemy, and y'all don't even fucking realize it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Each of the elements, like earth, I attribute that to the graph writer. You know what I'm saying? Because he uses earth, you know what I'm saying, fixed things to put those glyphs up on the wall and shit. The air, that's the DJ. It's cat because air needs sound, you know what I'm saying? Sound travels through the air. You know what I'm saying? So when the DJ is doing this, putting his call out, that shit goes through the air. Water? Oh, that's the B-boy play. I used to do that shit, son. I wasn't nice though, but I used to do it. Fire. The word, you know what I'm saying? That fire. When you mix them all together, they become the culmination of hip-hop when you add that secret elixir. That element that cats who don't have that element can't really participate in hip-hop on that level. All right? So let's break down Earth first. When this civilization finally crumbles and is covered by the sands of time, what will be left behind as a monument for the next civilization to study about our glorious past? From a hip-hop point of view, the answer to this question would undoubtedly be tenement buildings. And just like the Great Pyramids of Kemet, these tenement buildings would be considered as sacred as any other monuments left behind by our ancestors to awaken a future people. However, it wouldn't be the architectural structure of these buildings that would be so amazing, but the graffiti writing on its walls that would tell an astonishing story, and stories just as the pyramids chronicled our journey from man to God, then from God to man. Graffiti, which is the first element of hip-hop and is also the earth element, would be the only one of the four elements that could stand the test of time. 1,000 years from now, when they excavate our remains, they would have to look on the walls of tenement buildings to study the urban glyphs to get a mere clue of who we really were. It would then take another 100 years for them to decipher the stories being told. Stories of the God MCs who ruled the lands and the riches they obtained. Stories about the beat makers, the dancers, and the graph artists themselves who were the first to awaken and realize that we were once gods. The story would go on to tell about how graffiti activated the other elements and began the alchemical process of raising a people who were left for dead back to the God realm from which they came. Unfortunately, the story would end with the arrival of a foreign people from another realm who began a crusade to destroy graffiti by removing it from its walls, handball courts, and subway trains. The latter being the most critical because in the beginning of hip-hop was the word. The written word, and the subway train enabled graph artists to spread the word throughout the boroughs, activating the pineal glands of those who could decipher the strange markings. As the train rolled by, initiates from this initial ancient mystery school of writing who chose to reincarnate at that time began popping up simultaneously. Those who are not from the God realm know and understand that they are on borrowed time. All right? They are trained to recognize spiritual signs that serve as forewarnings of their demise. Consequently, when they saw the strange markers on the tenement buildings and the interpretation was clear, the writing is on the wall and the devil's time to rule was over. So they had to shut down this vortex of energy before it was too late, before too many of the sleepwalkers emerged from the dead. This is the real reason today that there is scarce evidence of its existence, except amongst those who have made the lifelong commitment to preserve the science of graffiti. And even today, only those with a trained first eye can truly decipher the language being spoken. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. I mean, I appreciate it, but there's certain guys who glyphs was so ill that you just be like, damn, son. And he can break that shit down to you with that shit, man, this, that. You have to have a trained first eye. You have to be from that initiate school from ancient times and reincarnated. Some cats can run up to, oh, that shit mean this, Wayne. Oh, all right, yeah, I knew that. What the fuck these niggas is talking about? You know what I'm saying? All right. The glyphs, symbols, and images are nothing more than frozen sounds that have formed sacred words spoken by the Supreme Consciousness. Interfacing through your interpretation of these tags is like having a conversation with God, the higher realms of self connected to the infinite one. It's the earth element because it uses matter to manifest itself. Unlike our ancestors who had as much time as they needed to carve their hieroglyphs into stone, spray paint was used because it was quick to dry, allowing the graph artists to, stick and move. You know what I'm saying? And then there was some social shit in there. Fuck Koch. Koch sucks back in the 70s. Niggas do little social messages and that shit too. But that's some deep shit. You know what I'm saying? So we want to put that with the graph artists. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to put that shit with hieroglyphs. It's some hip-hop hieroglyph shit. And for all the ancients who might get mad because I attributed graffiti to hieroglyphs, sorry. You know what I'm saying? I have to show hip-hop cats how we are connected to ancient times. It's nothing new under the sun. All this shit, we just coming back and we calling it hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? We've been beating on drums, writing on walls, dancing, and the Oracle been speaking for years. They didn't call it hip-hop. We just calling shit hip-hop. All right? Y'all still with me? All right, let's deal with the air element of hip-hop. The air element is reserved for sound that has movement. In this case, I'm talking about sound waves generated by the DJ on the ones and twos. This still enabled us to interface with God just through a different medium of sound. All right? Music is universal, not the language spoken or harmonized over the music. So DJs mastered the art of cleverly highlighting the breakbeat, which contained encoded messages within the music itself, and created an entirely different language that spoke to the higher realms of one's soul. You follow me? That's what the breakbeat was about. We could, the words could have been saying anything in English language as we discussed, but when niggas started, I used to DJ too. I used to pop needles. I used to needle drop. Panic mentioned that on this old school joint. I used to spin the needles back on some Grand Wizard Theodore shit. I wasn't nice, but again, like I said, when you did hip hop back in the day, you did a couple of them things. You was a b-boy, you had a graph, you know what I'm saying? You might have been a DJ for a while. You know what I'm saying? You was skilled in all of the crafts. All right? Huh? Unlike today. Very unlike today. All right? So not to say that DJs didn't play the words or choruses in the song, because they did. It's just that the most important part of the song was the breakbeat. The breakbeat in the song allowed you to cross over to the dark side or the chaos realm of hip-hop, because at that point in the song, no human was speaking to you in a degenerative language like English that only served as a tool to retard your ability to reconnect with your higher self. You automatically were in tune with the universe via the melanin in your body, linking up with the harmonious sounds emanating from the speakers. The mind was able to ride the sound waves into a different dimension of time and space for a short period of time before returning to the earthly realm, only to do it again when the next breakbeat came on. When the words in a song were used or highlighted, they were usually mixed, scratched, or transformed into foreign languages that were incomprehensible to those who could not access the higher frequencies of sound. What I mean by that is this: as Panic broke down, we understood that shit. That was hip-hop. If we used the words, we transformed them shits. Scratched them shits up a certain way. That's what the DJ was doing. We was transforming and all of that shit. Speaking a whole nother language that spoke to my soul, son. I was at the ropes like this. Shorty back up from the ropes. I'm like, yo, son, you know what I'm saying? See what the fuck's going on and shit. You know? All right. What sounded like gibberish to most was in fact mathematical instructions encased in sound designed to reformulate our DNA structure. In other words, music calms the savage beast but awakens the beast within us by igniting our Kundalini energy. In ancient times, it was the drummer who possessed the power to induce trance-like states amongst the faithful at what was called sacred spiritual ceremonies. All right? In hip-hop, the drummer became the DJ. And a spiritual ceremony in hip-hop terms was known as a jam, which was a congregation of b-boys and b-girls at a specific location in the hood that was designated by the event's sole controller, the DJ. He and only he had the power through the use of his turntable wizardry to beam signals that blasted out of his speakers to the hood in the form of scratches and drum beats that echoed off the concrete of project walls and tenement halls. Even the tenement buildings themselves changed the way that the sound of the drums resonated through the jams. All right, so that was all science right there. Turning them into sound chambers equal to those found in the pyramids devised to align our energy, with the pyramids, or in this case, tenement buildings on other planets. So them tenement buildings started serving as fucking pyramids. And the way that sound echoed off the tenement buildings, when you was at that jam and shit became a sound chamber which aligned you with hip-hop on Mars. Fuck it. Africa Bambaataa talking about hip-hop, he want to see hip-hop on Mars. Who knows? Who knows where this shit started from? It may be the way we communicating with those other planets. You know what I'm saying? Keep that real. All right. This was all made possible by the DJ who had total command over two sphere-like melanin discs that spun to create vortexes in the universe that allowed us to escape the hardships of this so-called reality that we have been subjected to. So the DJ, that's two melanin discs. That's all it is. Pop, pop. Spinning them shits back and forth, creating little vortexes and shit. Niggas is tapping in. Wheels of steel. All right? I want to make that clear. These black holes were opened not just by the spiraling of the spheres, but also by the scratching, mixing, transformation, and altering of records' original content that allowed those with melanin to cross over into alternate dimensions at will. Hip-hoppers, breakdancers, and MCs within this spiritual circumference who wanted to return home just had to follow the trail of the wormhole back to its original source, the DJ. All right, so let's put that up on the board. Fuck with the air cat, it's the DJ / the drummer. For you ancient cats, you know what I'm saying, who don't really, my handwriting sucks, like I said, that's why I didn't write rhymes. You know what I'm saying, I didn't write in school, and I see my 10-year-old, my 11-year-old son doing it now. He'd be like trying to complete a sentence. I'd be like, didn't you read this? His mind is moving faster than his hand can write, so there's just words missed, and so I understand what's going on with that. All right, let's get down to the water element. The human body is composed of over 70% of water, so it should come to you as no surprise that this represents the water element of hip-hop. B-boys, B-girls, poppers, lockers, break dancers, and those who did the electric boogie were all of the water aspect. My man Chill was a water element. The composition of water changes based on the type of air it comes in contact with. In other words, the type of beats air that you heard determine whether you chilled on the wall in the frozen state, did the electric boogie in the fluid state, became steamed by beats that got you riled up and ready to fight, or distilled back in the planet in the form of the latest breakdance moves. You know what I'm saying? So water, that's just how water breaks down. So that determined, the music you listen to determine how you chilled. The body has the ability to transmute at will, especially when it fuses with all of the elements at its disposal. The earth element is also important as it pertains to water because it provides a foundation for water to flow on. True masters of the water element were able to walk on air via the moonwalk. Body movement represented still a different degree of sound, the silent yet sacred geometrical portion of it. Dancing is nothing more than sacred geometry, and each move that the body makes is an expression of sound without actually making any. Or should I say that the body in motion makes sounds that vibrate so high that only the heavens can hear. This is how we were able to perform rain dances and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Because the body is making sound. It's music. Son, I'm hip-hop, son. When I tell you that I'm hip-hop, and when I walk down the street like this, son, it's hip-hop shit, son. This is my walk. You know what I'm saying? When I'm at the jam, I'm speaking to other brothers who communicate like that. That shit is poetry in motion. And all we did was make an art form to articulate that. A music form, you know what I'm saying? This is who we are. All right? All right. B-boys bopping down the street will also create an energy. However, the science of how to use that energy to one's benefit had been lost within the time of the ancients and the reincarnation of hip-hop. So we didn't realize that, you know what I'm saying, this was some sacred geometry at the time we was doing it. We were just doing it. The whole hip-hop shit. The purpose I'm doing this lecture, in essence, is because this is, like I said, this is not about the history of hip-hop. I don't want to get no old school cats fucked up and said, nigga, you was 10. They're right. I was 10, but I'm giving you hip hop through the eyes of a 10-year-old. And in retrospect, when we go back to visit what hip hop is, I discovered it was some spiritual shit. And I want to share it with the world. You know what I'm saying? Man, a lot of times these things take place in retrospect. You don't realize who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it, because you're doing it. Malcolm X didn't know he was fucking Malcolm X. He was just saying, look, this is some shit that's going on, and I got to express this to people. You know?
Past, present, and future interact simultaneously.
Thank you. Past, present, and future interact simultaneously. 2%, 2%. They got to give me royalties on that shit, man. You be in the studio doing your shit, and a nigga would say, don't say it like this, say it like that. And then nigga want credit for your song and shit. Folks did that shit to me back in the day. Niggas, no, don't say the chorus like this, say it like that. Nigga want a credit. Ain't that some shit? That's how that shit works. All right, raising one's kundalini energy without the proper focus and intent can be very dangerous. So breakdancing without the rituals that accompanied them did us more harm than good, because it allowed those devils who understood the power that we possess to feed off of that ethereal energy to suppress us and raise themselves up. Even though we didn't have the full understanding of body movements at the time, we were still able to receive some of its spiritual properties by b-boying by using it to heal the body. When we were breakdancing, doing the electric boogie, or just chilling in the b-boy stance, meditating on hip-hop as a whole, we were in fact in an altered state of mind that allowed us to escape the horrid conditions of life in the inner cities. When the music stopped and we stopped dancing, we were forced to return to the stark reality of poverty, crime, and racism, which were the ingredients that created hip-hop in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It created hip-hop in the first. Those conditions forced us to come up with a soundtrack about the shit we was going through. You know what I'm saying? And we brought that soundtrack across as hip-hop. You know what I mean? Hard times. So we want to focus a little bit later on who creating those conditions to make us come up with this kind of shit, making us tap in. And they continue to do it. You know what I'm saying? Every time shit get fucked up, they put some pressure on us because we're the only ones who can create anything that you see. So we want to write that. For the water is the B-boy. Y'all still with me? All right. So let's get to fire. I think Jazz will like this one. The MC was the last of the four basic elements to emerge. The reason I say, a lot of people are just determining, was it water, was it fire? I'm going to say fire. Because niggas was b-boying from the beginning. And we all know graph has been around since fucking the late 60s. Shit, motherfuckers been writing on the walls. And the DJ, we're going to attribute that to Herc. You know what I'm saying? The one who came out to start, we're going to attribute it to Herc. I mean, like I said, I'm not doing something on history. You know what I'm saying? So we'll give Herc that kind of credit. I know a story that Herc don't want me to tell. All right. The MC was the last of the four basic elements to emerge. Within him were all the other elements combined, which ignited the spark necessary for him or her to spit fire. The word represented the spoken word activated when the fiery energy at the base of the spine was raised to the level of the throat chakra. Fire needs air to survive. So when the word merged with the beat, hip-hop began to spread quickly and take on a life of its own. So when fire hit air, the shit spread. That's basic shit, all right? At the time, balance with the other elements of hip-hop prevented fire from burning out of control. However, in the years to come, this fire would ultimately lead to the demise of the spiritual aspect of hip-hop by literally burning up and devouring the other elements. It's all about the MC now. You know what I'm saying? It used to be about all the elements as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So the MC gets all the credit now. Large crowds began to form at the jam like particles of matter when certain sounds were pronounced and an equal vibratory rate of those particular particles in that circumference were reached. In other words, when the MC began spitting fire on the mic, his voice was able to reach like minds who were rapidly drawn to that source of energy, forming mass bodies of matter called fans. You know what I'm saying? So when that word came out, motherfuckers started forming, because you know your words have the power to, you know, bring shit into existence anyway. So when those words went out over the mic, fans started forming. That's that mass body I'm talking about. And hip-hop as a culture began to take form. The MC was able to then transform and add a spark to an otherwise otherwise lifeless language like English by changing the meaning and vibration of its words. Like I said, words like fresh, chill, fly, sucker, death, whack, and so on were used to encode the gospel so that was about to be taught and to isolate hip-hop from those who were not chosen to receive it. So when I said death to a Caucasian, it meant death. But to you, it meant something else. And that's the way, that's that Underground Railroad shit. That's the way we spoke in a language that was only meant for us, not for everybody, all right? Just as slaves who yearned to be free spoke in a secret language to discuss their plans for escape, we created a language within an existing language that served the same purpose, because we too longed to be free, and hip-hop provided the outlet to complete this mission. Once the transmutation of the language was complete, MCs began the process of call and response by chanting, "Throw your hands in the air, say ho, and somebody scream." It was a call and response. Y'all know that's spiritual right there. So we did it, you know what I'm saying? One of the greatest to do it is Busy B. We're going to get in Busy B's ass too. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy. I love him to death. I'm going to tell you a little story about what happened with me and Busy. All right. So that's that call and response that we talked about, right? The audience participation provided the energy needed to activate the ritual. We then collectively began to raise ourselves up. The fire began to pay homage to the air that it needed to survive. In other words, the MC began to pay homage to the DJ. You know what I'm saying? Because without that air, that fire can't exist. So it was all about the DJ. You know what I'm saying? In other words, the MC began to big up the DJ because he knew and understood that without him, he was but a mere spark that had potential to become fire. In no time, true MCs were locked into the sync tone of the universe and began rhyming in rhythmic patterns that echoed the heartbeat of creation. Yeah, Sean. You know what I'm saying? All lined up. We began to, you know what I'm saying, speak those words in rhythmic patterns. Still lined up. You know what I'm saying? We still got this shit lined up. The first rhymes were about partying and feeling good about ourselves. They immediately raised our energy and created a gateway for us to mentally escape the real life issues that plagued us. You know what I'm saying? All we wanted to do was feel good at that time. We was in such a dull and lull as a people. First MCs just wanted to give you an opportunity to escape the shit you had to go through, police brutality and all that shit. And just throw your hands in the air and just feel good while you in this zone called hip hop. The next level of rhyming took us to the dream world as MCs began to flow about things that they didn't physically have, yet they yearned to possess. You know what I'm saying? Got credit cards, got 2 big cars, definitely ain't back. I got a Lincoln Continental and a sunroof Cadillac. See, after school, we'll take a dip in the pool. We didn't have all that shit. But it gave us an opportunity to dream about it. Moving us to the dream world with words. Not a bad thing, just giving us a chance to dream about it. You know, expand our shit. So that's the next wave of MCs. They brought that kind of shit in. We too would activate the pineal gland and journey with our favorite MC who was simply echoing our own sentiments. And together we would travel to the astral plane and begin the process of bringing the objects of our desire into a physical reality. Niggas started having fresh British walkers after a while, the gazelles and shit. You know what I'm saying? Sheepskins and shit. You know what I'm saying? We started bringing that shit down. It's the shit we wanted. At that time, niggas started rocking the girl ropes and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the power of that. As I mentioned, British walkers, playboys, mock necks, overlaps. You know what I'm saying? Demonstrating that the proper use of fire in conjunction with the other elements could deliver anything that the gods of hip-hop wished for. The fire would reach even greater heights when MCs began joining forces in perfect harmony doing routines, immediately changing the dynamics of its existing works. Commercials that were meant to seduce us into buying products that were probably harmful for us were converted into hip-hop classics that did the very opposite of their initial intentions. Their lyrics and they lyrically and spiritually empowered us. You know what I'm saying? 50 ways to rock a party. Cold Crush got 50 ways to move your body. We took old shit and made it something else, changing the vibration of it. You know what I'm saying? If you're blue and you don't know where to come to, why don't you come where action sets? When money's on the mix. The Money Ray's the boss, of course. You feel the force when Money Ray is on the mix. Yo, Money Ray, flick it with your wrist. And if he sees a fly girl, he will scoop her on the strength. You see, my DJ Money's not a party pooper. He's super duper, and yes, you'll find the funky rhyme with all the time with Money Ray is on the mix. Yo, Money Ray, flick it with your wrist. The Money Ray will keep you jumping, so move your feet to the beat that's pumping, spinning every rhyme just to hear delirious rhyme. So if you're blue, everybody over there, it's one of my classics. That's my ode to those who did routines will understand what hip-hop was about before you was even on wax. And that's a big shout out to my man who passed away, DJ Money Ray. It's when you made songs about your DJ off of corny shit like putting on the hits. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did in hip-hop. We changed the vibration of those words. And we did our own thing. I did that routine for Dougie Fresh at 371 up in the Bronx in 1984. Or I think it was 85. And, I approached him after that. I said, yo, Doug, what you think about this shit? You know what I'm saying? He might not remember, but I do. He gave me his honest opinion, this and that, on my whole routine, chop this, do this and that. He wasn't an unapproachable thug, as these rappers are now. He came up and he was teaching. He told me, yo, do this and that. That particular routine is hot, whatever the case may be. Then he went up on stage and ripped the building down. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't in threat of me. He taught, you know what I'm saying, was telling me how to fine tune and keep shit in order. All right. Again, this just illustrated how the gods of hip-hop could take nothing and make it into something, or take something that had a negative charge and give it a positive charge. In the beginning, our lives seemed like nothing. But with the proper use of the four basic elements, earth, air, water, and fire, the hidden science of who we are and who we once were began to reveal itself through the magic and art that we created called hip-hop. So when we started putting these elements together, where's my chalk? I'm fucking up. I don't know why I'm stressing that one fucking piece. I got a whole bunch of fucking colors and shit. Oh, here we go. You know, Virgos are like that. Just stick with what we fucking know. Oh, we dealing with fire, so that's the word, or the MC. Let's go with the MC. For those at home in TV land, we'll say the MC, or the oracle from ancient time. You know what I'm saying? The griot, the ones who told stories and shit. All of that. Now, the culmination, 5 minutes? Oh, before we change the tape, okay. All right, I'm gonna try to do this in 5 minutes. All right. Hip-hop is alchemy in the mundane sense of the word, meaning we were able to use it to transfer lead into gold. When the lead hit the pad, it led to gold. You know what I'm saying? So when the lead from the pencil hit the pad, the shit led to gold. Gold fucking records. All right? All right. You know, let the gold records, chains, teeth, whatever the fuck we wanted. Hip-hop, albums, all that shit. Hip-hop was also alchemy in the advanced sense of the word of transforming man into God. We have always been accustomed to using hieroglyphs, drummers, and sacred dances and chanting as a part of our rituals to tap into the spirit realm. Today, we just call it graffiti, DJ, b-boying, and MCing. There is nothing new under the sun, only that which has been forgotten. So the elements of old have just been taken on a new identity. The combination of these raw elements began to form what we call hip-hop. Initially, we didn't call it anything, so it had no form. It was pure chaos. Okay, I want to keep that and throw that out there. All right? By calling it hip-hop, we gave it form, which in essence We gave it order. However, the 4 elements by themselves was not enough to elevate one into a hip-hop occultist. You needed the 5th element, which is ether. In other words, melanin and the proper knowledge or spiritual components to become a true hip-hop alchemist. So when Afrika Bambaataa said that knowledge was the 5th element of hip-hop, metaphysically speaking, he was right. But, I mean, my lessons always teach me knowledge is the foundation of all things. You know what I'm saying? But when you put it in this context, where am I at? All right, knowledge has always been viewed as the foundation of all things. However, when it was added to the other existing elements, only when it was added to the other existing elements did hip-hop take on a primary form, and primary means first. All right, so all of them by themselves, it was chaos. When we called it hip-hop, it took on its primary form. Primary mean one, first. Knowledge is always first. I'm going to line that up with BAM because I don't want BAM to send the Zulu Nation out to get my ass. BAM is serious. You know what I'm saying? So I want to line that up with BAM and throw that out there. All right? We still on the clock. So in order for you to use hip-hop to elevate yourself to the God realm, you needed the lost element. From the beginning, hip-hop was not for everyone. It was for a chosen few, and contrary to popular belief, it was never meant to go mainstream. It was for us. Just like any chosen science. It's not for fucking everybody. Everybody can't grasp grasp the concepts. So it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I understand that certain hip-hop groups got white members and stuff. I think they should make them study 35 to 50 years before they can call themselves hip-hop sons. That's all I'm saying. Just that's just what I say. Just as there is certain levels of knowledge that is meant for the masses due to their lack of esoteric understanding, the highest realms of hip-hop were reserved for those who could tap in. Having melanin simply meant that you had the potential to access the God realm, but it lied dormant in most who didn't understand the power that they possessed. On the other hand, those without melanin only had access to the remedial levels of hip-hop. And at the time, it was just listening and appreciating it from afar. That's all they could do, was listen and appreciate. They couldn't participate. Very few could pass the initiation of mastering the elements of rhyming or harmonizing in a group, cutting with the speed and agility of a DJ, pop, lock, spin, or on their head, or breakdance, or have the spiritual insight to bring down images or glyphs from the astral plane in their writings. Hip-hop was the perfect balance until a few of the melanin deficient ones who understood esoteric knowledge, yet their own limitations regarding it, were able to do the ritual work necessary to tap in on the highest realms of hip-hop that they could possibly achieve so they could use the energy for their own benefit. Just because you don't have the melanin, white people out here doing, they can get in at a certain level if they're doing the right rituals and can tap in. Once we allowed them to study and participate in hip-hop, they found a way to empower themselves by using it. Once hip-hop went commercial, it was no longer hip-hop, it was rap. The devil's realm is the material realm. So over a course of time, they were able to lock hip-hop into a vibration that wouldn't resonate higher than higher than the physical. Economically, hip-hop was thriving, and the more sales it generated, the less power we had over it. And the more we as gods only used it for its material resources, the less spiritual we became. All right, so the more we used hip-hop to get paid, that part of the shit went up, and the spiritual aspect and essence of the shit went down. And that's where we all went wrong, allowing those to participate in something that they had nothing to do with. Everything we create is not for sale. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes we create for us from an alchemical standpoint to do us and raise us up. And later on, if we want to make money off it for us, we can do that. But don't think that we own hip-hop. Don't think we're making the big bucks in hip-hop, because we are not. Don't be fooled. So we'll say ether. Melanin, same shit. And I'm going to put knowledge, because Bam said it's the 5th element. I don't want to fuck with Bam. All right? This is who we are. Earth, air, water, fire, melanin. This is how we manifest it through the graph, the DJ, the b-boy, the MC, and through ether, tapping into the higher realms. This is where it comes from, the hieroglyph, the drummer, the dancer, shapeshifter and shit. Oracle, griot, you know what I'm saying? And knowledge of how to use and access this shit. Stop thinking hip hop is just fucking beats and rhymes. That's the shit that be pissing me off. And with that, I think we're gonna change the tape. All right, we'll change the tape, and we just getting started.